The alarms kept screaming. Red lights flashed across every wall in the engineering bay. The heavy door shook each time a Krell energy rifle hit it. Sparks flew from the metal. Smoke started to rise in thin lines. Inside, John Harris stood near the main console. He watched the security feed on a cracked screen. Krell soldiers filled the outer corridor. They were tall, in dark armor. Their rifles glowed blue at the tips. One of them raised a device and fired again. The door bent inward a little. Daniel Brooks worked fast at another panel. His fingers flew over keys. I locked down the blast doors on levels 3 through 5. They can't flank us easy, but they will get through this door soon. Laura Mitchell knelt by a tool rack. She pulled out thick cables and a welding torch. We can rig a trap here. If they breach, we drop the ceiling panel on them. It weighs 2 tons, should crush a few. Ryan Cole moved crates and machines to make a low wall. He stacked them like sandbags. His big hands lifted things no one else could move alone. I need weapons. Pistols are not enough against their armor. John nodded. Laura, see if you can pull power from the auxiliary grid. Boost our sidearms. Daniel, check the vents. We might crawl out if we have to. A small, green-scaled alien engineer named Tov stood close. He had joined them from the summit room. His hands shook, but he spoke clear. I know this station. There is a service tunnel behind the reactor. It leads to the hangar deck, but it is narrow and hot. John looked at him. Good. We keep that as plan B. First, we hold here. The door groaned loud. A crack appeared down the middle. Blue light poured through. Then a loud voice came over the speakers. This is Admiral Vara. Humans and traitors inside. You have 10 seconds to open the door, or we burn through and kill you all. No one answered. Daniel counted down in his head. At 0, the door exploded inward. Metal flew. 2 Krell soldiers charged in first, their rifles ready. Ryan moved like lightning. He grabbed a heavy metal rod from the floor and swung it hard. It hit the first soldier in the chest. The armor cracked. The Krell flew back into his partner. Both went down. Daniel fired his pistol. The bullets sparked on the armor, but one hit a joint at the knee. The soldier screamed and fell. Laura threw a welding torch like a spear. It stuck in a Krell helmet visor. Sparks flew into his face. He dropped, clawing at it. More soldiers poured in. 5, then 6. They fired wild. Energy bolts hit walls and machines. One bolt grazed Ryan's arm. His uniform burned, but he did not stop. He roared and charged. He tackled one soldier to the ground and punched through the faceplate with his fist. Blood sprayed. Green blood. John ducked behind the console. He fired careful shots. Each one hit weak spots. Neck joints. Armpits. One Krell fell. Then another. Tov and the 2 bird-like technicians hid behind crates. They threw tools and debris. Anything to slow the enemy. The fight was fast and messy. The engineering bay smelled of burned metal and ozone. Bodies piled near the door. Krell bodies mostly. But one of the bird technicians took a direct hit. He fell silent. Tov pulled him back, eyes wide with fear. Laura finished her work. She yelled, "Now!" She hit a switch. The ceiling panel above the door dropped. It crushed 3 Krell soldiers flat. Their armor bent like paper. The others jumped back. The remaining Krell pulled out. They dragged their wounded. The doorframe was now a twisted wreck. John breathed hard. Status? Daniel checked his arm. A burn, but not deep. We held, but they will come back with more. Maybe heavies. Ryan wiped blood from his hands. Let them. I'm just getting started. Laura looked at the console. I tapped in to the station comms. They are talking. Vara is angry. He says the humans fight like animals. He wants the whole deck sealed and gasped. John frowned. Gas will not work on us long. Our lungs handle worse. But the others? Tav nodded fast. My people die quick from Krell nerve gas. We need masks or we leave now. John thought fast. We move, service tunnel, to the hangar. If we can reach a shuttle or a comm array, we send a stronger signal. They gathered what they could. Pistols, tools, a few power cells Laura boosted. Ryan carried the wounded bird technician on his shoulder. The alien was light. They slipped behind the reactor. The tunnel was tight. Pipes ran along the walls. Hot steam hissed from small leaks. The air smelled like oil and metal. Laura led with her scanner. This way, 50 meters, then down a ladder. They crawled and walked. Sweat ran down their faces. The Krell would search soon. I sent the distress burst before the fight. Narrow band. Earth will get it. But response time is at least 6 hours. Maybe less if a patrol ship is close. John kept his voice steady. 6 hours. We survived 6 hours. They reached the ladder. It went down into darkness. Ryan went first. His big frame barely fit. He tested each rung. Halfway down, alarms changed pitch. A new announcement. All sections. Krell forces now control life support on decks 4 to 8. Oxygen reduction in progress. Non-Krell personnel will lose consciousness in 15 minutes. Tav gasped. They are killing everyone who did not surrender. John clenched his jaw. Not us. Keep moving. At the bottom, they entered a wide maintenance hall. Tools and spare parts everywhere. In the distance, light from the hangar deck. But footsteps echoed behind them. Heavy boots. Krell pursuit. They found the tunnel. Ryan set the wounded technician down gently. I will slow them. John shook his head. Together. We fight together. They took cover behind crates. Krell's soldiers appeared at the far end. 10 of them. Armored heavier this time. Big rifles. One carried a plasma cannon. The leader shouted, "Surrender or die." John stood up slow. Come take us. The Krell opened fire. Energy bolts lit the hall like lightning. Crates exploded. Metal screamed. Daniel rolled to a new spot. He fired back. Hit one in the leg. Laura threw a power cell. It burst on the floor. Sparks flew up. 2 Krell stumbled blind. Ryan charged again. He grabbed a heavy wrench and threw it like a tomahawk. It hit a Krell helmet. The soldier dropped. John aimed careful. He shot the plasma cannon carrier in the hand. The weapon fell. It discharged wild. A wall melted. The fight turned brutal. Hand to hand, he snapped the rifle in half. Then broke the Krell arm. Daniel fought 2 at once. He dodged a blade, punched one in the throat, kicked the other in the knee. Laura used her multi-tool like a knife. She cut cables on a Krell suit. Power failed. The soldier froze. Tav and the surviving bird technician threw anything they found. Bolts, wrenches, small winds. But the Krell kept coming. More from the tunnel. John took a hit to the shoulder. Pain burned hot. Blood ran down his arm. He kept firing. Then a new sound, a deep rumble from far away. The station shook hard. Daniel looked up. What was that? Laura checked her scanner. Her eyes went wide. Incoming ships. Human signatures. They jumped close, very close. John smiled through the pain. Backup. Outside the station, in the black of space, sleek human ships appeared. The cruiser Liberty led them. Commander Megan Carter stood on the bridge, her voice calm over comms. This is Liberty to all human forces. We read your signal. Hold on. We are coming in hot. The battle for the station had just changed. Inside the maintenance hall, the Krell heard it too. They paused. John raised his pistol. Blood dripped from his arm. Time is up for you, he said. The Krell looked at each other. Then they ran. The humans stood in the smoke and fire. They were hurt, tired, bleeding, but they were still standing. And now the real fight began. The maintenance halls still smelled of smoke and blood. Sparks popped from broken pipes. Bodies lay on the floor, mostly Krell. A few human wounds bled slow. John Harris pressed a cloth to his shoulder. The pain was sharp, but he ignored it. He had felt worse falling off cliffs back home. Daniel Brooks wiped sweat from his face. Liberty is here. I see their transponders on the scanner. 5 ships, cruiser class. They jumped right into the fight zone. No hesitation. Laura Mitchell stared at her small screen. They are already engaging. Krell fleet is turning to face them. Our people are hitting hard. Ryan Cole stood by the wrecked door. He held a Krell energy rifle now. He had taken it from a dead soldier. The weapon was heavy, but it felt good in his hands. We need to link up, get to the hangar, meet them when they board. Tav, the green-scaled engineer, nodded fast. Hangar is 2 levels up, but the lifts are locked. We take the emergency stairs. Krell will guard them. John looked at his team. All tired, all hurt, none broken. We move now. Stay tight. Shoot first, ask questions later. They started up the stairs. Ryan went first. He carried the wounded bird technician again. The alien breathed shallow but alive. The steps were narrow. Metal clanged under their boots. Halfway up, they heard fighting above. Energy blasts, shouts, human voices mixed with Krell roars. Daniel grinned. Marines are already inside. They reached the hangar level. The door was half open. Through the gap, chaos showed. Krell soldiers fired from cover. Human Marines in thick gray exosuits charged forward. Their rifles spat kinetic rounds. Bullets punched through Krell armor where energy weapons failed. One Marine, Sergeant Kayla Torres, led the push. She was short but fast. Her suit had red stripes on the arms. She threw a grenade. It exploded in a group of Krell. The rest scattered. John's group burst out. Friendlies, he yelled. Kayla turned. She raised her rifle, then lowered it fast. Captain Harris? Hell yes. Get over here. They ran to cover behind a row of parked shuttles. Bullets and energy bolts flew overhead. A Krell heavy gunner set up on a catwalk. He aimed down. Ryan saw it first. He raised the stolen rifle. Fired once. The bolt hit the gunner's chest. The Krell fell forward. Crashed 3 levels down. Kayla laughed short. Nice shot, big guy. John knelt beside her. What's the situation? Liberty took out 2 Krell cruisers on entry. Our fighters are swarming their carriers. But Vara's flagship is still strong. It's pulling back to cover the station. We need to take it, or they regroup. Laura plugged her scanner into a nearby terminal. I can hack the station docking clamps. Force Vara's ship to stay close. Give our boarders time. We can use the service tubes to get aboard his ship. More human Marines poured in from the breached hangar doors. They moved like they owned the place. One squad set up a heavy machine gun. It roared. Krell lines broke. Commander Megan Carter's voice came over open comms. All teams, this is Liberty Actual. We have air superiority. Boarding parties to Vara's flagship. Priority, capture command deck. Humans do not leave anyone behind. John stood. That's our cue. Laura, Daniel, Ryan. With me. Tove, stay with the wounded. Kayla, can you spare 2 Marines? Kayla pointed. 2 young Marines stepped up. Private Ethan Grant and Corporal Mia Lopez. Both looked ready. Take them, she said. They are good in tight spaces. The small team moved. They slipped through side passages. Avoided main fights. The station shook from outside explosions. Human ships hammered Krell hulls. They reached an access tube. It led straight to the Krell flagship's lower decks. Laura cut the hatch open with her tool. Sparks flew. Inside, the tube was dark and cold. Air hissed. They crawled single file. Ryan first again. His broad shoulders scraped the walls. Halfway, a Krell patrol waited at the other end. 4 soldiers. They spotted the humans. Energy fire lit the tube. Bolts bounced off walls. Ryan pushed forward. He fired the rifle one-handed. Hit two. The others ducked. Ethan and Mia leaned out. Their rifles barked. Kinetic rounds shredded armor. The last Krell fell. They climbed out into a Krell corridor. Red lights, curved walls, strange symbols glowed on panels. Daniel checked a map on his wristpad. Command deck is up 3 levels. Central lift, but they will guard it heavy. John smiled thin. Then we do not take the lift. They moved fast, used vents and side halls. Krell alarms screamed. Voices shouted in their language. On the way, they found a Krell armory. Ryan kicked the door in. Inside, rifles, grenades, power blades. They armed up. John took a plasma pistol. It felt strange, but strong. Laura grabbed a tech kit. Daniel loaded grenades. They pushed on. At the command deck entrance, 20 Krell waited. Barricades, heavy guns. Admiral Vara stood behind them. His armor shone. Red lines glowed bright. Vara saw them. Deathworlders. You dare come here? John stepped forward. We dare. Your war ends today. Vara laughed. You bleed already. Your kind is tough, yes, but we are many. You are few. John looked at his team. Ryan cracked his knuckles. Daniel primed a grenade. Laura's fingers danced on her pad. Ethan and Mia raised rifles. Then the deck shook hard. Liberty's guns hit the flagship. Lights flickered. Alarms wailed. Vara snarled. Fire! The fight exploded. Ryan charged the barricade. He took hits. Energy burned his suit. He kept going. Broke them like sticks. Daniel threw grenades. Explosions tore holes in the line. Laura hacked a panel. She shut down half the turrets. Sparks flew from walls. John and the Marines fired steady. Bullets and plasma mixed. Krell fell one by one. Vara swung a power blade. He cut toward Ryan. Ryan dodged, grabbed the blade arm, twisted. Vara roared in pain. John ran up. He shot Vara in the leg. The Admiral dropped to one knee. The remaining Krell broke. Some ran, some surrendered. Vara glared up. How? How do you keep coming? John stood over him, blood on his face, shoulder still bleeding. Our world does not forgive weakness, it kills it. We learned to live through hell. You never had to. Megan's voice came over comms again. Boarding complete, flagship secured, all teams report. John pressed his comm. Command deck taken, Vara captured, station secure. Megan replied, Good work, Captain. Bring him to the bridge. The galaxy needs to see this. The team stood in the wrecked command deck. Bodies everywhere. Smoke rose, lights dimmed. Ryan helped cuff Vara. The Admiral did not fight now. Daniel looked at John. We did it. John nodded slow. Not yet, but we started it. Outside, human ships flew victory patterns. Krell fleet pulled back, broken, scared. The fearless Deathworlders had arrived. And the Adversaries were in real peril now. The command deck of the Krell flagship smelled of burned circuits and fear. Admiral Vara knelt on the floor. His hands were bound with heavy cuffs. The red lines on his skin pulsed slow now, not bright with anger, just dim, like a dying fire. John Harris stood in front of him. Blood dried on his uniform. His shoulder throbbed, but he did not show it. Daniel Brooks watched the doors. Laura Mitchell worked at a console. She pulled data from Krell systems. Ryan Cole held the stolen rifle loose in his hands. Ethan Grant and Mia Lopez stood guard over the captured crew. Megan Carter's voice came clear over the comms. Captain Harris, status on the Admiral? Secured, John said. Flagship is ours. Station is clear of hostiles. Your Marines did the heavy lifting. Good. We are linking docking tubes now. Bring Vara to Liberty's Bridge. The coalitions want to see this live, broadcasted galaxy-wide. John looked down at Vara. You hear that? Your defeat goes out to every world. No hiding it. Vara lifted his head. His voice was low. You think this ends the Dominion? We have more fleets, more worlds. Daniel stepped closer. Not after today. Your ships are running. Your soldiers are dropping weapons. You lost the will to fight. Laura finished her hack. She turned. I have control of their main reactor. I can overload it, controlled blast, cripple their remaining ships without killing everyone. Or we hold it as leverage. John nodded. Do the overload. Timed. Give them 10 minutes to abandon ship or surrender. Vara's eyes widened. You would destroy my flagship? You would have glassed colonies, John said. This is fair. The Admiral said nothing more. They moved Vara through the corridors. Human Marines lined the halls. They watched the tall Krell leader walk past in cuffs. Some smirked. Others just stared cold. On Liberty's Bridge, Megan Carter waited. She was tall, with short black hair. Her uniform crisp despite the battle. She stood straight, eyes sharp. The bridge crew worked fast. Screens showed the battle outside. Human ships chased Krell vessels. Fighters darted like angry bees. Explosions bloomed silent in the black. Megan turned as they entered. Captain Harris, welcome aboard. John saluted loose. Commander, we brought a guest. Vara was pushed forward. He stood tall, even in defeat. Megan looked at him. Admiral Vara, you started a war thinking no one could stop you. You were wrong. Vara stared back. Your kind fights dirty. No honor, no formation, just rage. Megan smiled thin. We fight to win. Honor comes after. She turned to the main screen. Open channel. All frequencies. Coalition worlds. Neutral stations. Dominion homeworlds. Everyone watches. The screen lit up. A live feed. Vara in cuffs. Humans around him. No fear on their faces. Megan spoke clear. This is Commander Megan Carter of the United Earthship Liberty. The Krell Dominion attacked a peaceful summit. They took hostages. They threatened genocide. Human forces responded. The flagship is captured. Admiral Vara is our prisoner. The battle is over. The Dominion fleet is broken. We call for immediate ceasefire. Surrender your remaining ships, or face the same fate. Silence followed. Then cheers erupted from coalition channels. Alien voices shouted thanks. Some cried. On Dominion channels, static. Then a voice, a high Krell commander. We acknowledge defeat. We stand down. Ceasefire ordered. Megan looked at John. Your signal started this. Your stand on the station held them long enough for us to arrive. John shrugged. We just did not quit. Laura stepped up. Reactor overload in progress. 5 minutes left. Their ships are venting crew. They are abandoning in pods. Vara spoke sudden. Stop it. I will order full surrender. No more fighting. John looked at him. Why now? Vara looked away. I saw your people fight. You take wounds that kill my best. You move when you should fall. You laugh in the face of death. I thought Deathworlders were stories, myths to scare children. But you are real, and you are unstoppable. Megan nodded to Laura. Abort the overload, but keep the trigger ready. Laura typed fast. The bridge crew relaxed a little, but eyes stayed sharp. Outside, Krell ships powered down weapons. They drifted. Human vessels circled them, ready, but not firing. John turned to Vara. You will broadcast your surrender. Full terms, no tricks. Vara nodded slow. I will. The feed switched. Vara spoke to his people, his voice steady but beaten. This is Admiral Vara. The Dominion surrenders. All forces stand down. Return to base. No further aggression against Coalition worlds or Earth. The war ends here. The words went out, across stars, to every receiver. Coalition delegates came online, one after another. They thanked the humans. They called them saviors, legends. A bird-like leader from the free system spoke. Deathworlders turned the tide. We mocked you once, never again. Megan closed the channel. She looked at her crew. Secure the prisoner. Treat him fair. No abuse. Guards took Vara away. John leaned against a console. Tired hit him hard now. The pain in his shoulder flared. Megan walked over. You and your team need medbay, then rest. John shook his head. Later. First the station. Our allies there. Tav and the others. Make sure they are safe. Already done, Megan said. Marines evacuated them. They are on liberty now. Safe. Daniel clapped John on the good shoulder. We did it. Ryan grinned wide. Felt good to break some armor. And hack their fancy tech. Ethan and Mia stood proud. First real action. They survived. The bridge view screen showed the gas giant below. Swirls of color. Peaceful now. No more beams. No more explosions. Megan looked out. The galaxy just learned something new. Earth is not a backwater. Not a joke. We are the ones who endure. The ones who push back when others break. John stared at the stars. Our world taught us that. Hurricanes, earthquakes, predators, disease. We lost millions over time, but we got back up, every time. Megan nodded, and now the galaxy knows it too. Reports came in. Krell fleets pulling out of Coalition space. Borders redrawn. Peace talks starting. One message stood out, from a neutral news network. Fearless Deathworlders save the day. Adversaries in peril, no more. John read it, smiled small. The team gathered. They watched the stars together. They were hurt, exhausted, but alive. And the adversaries who once laughed at them now bowed their heads. The fearless Deathworlders had won. Not by being the strongest at first, but by never stopping. The Bridge of the Liberty grew quiet after the surrender broadcast. Screens showed Krell ships powering down one by one. Escape pods launched like seeds from dying plants. Human fighters circled but did not attack. The war that started with threats and laughs now ended with silence. Commander Megan Carter stood at the center console. She watched the data flow in. Reports from Coalition worlds. Cheers in alien languages. Messages of thanks poured in from stations far away. Even some Dominion colonies sent cautious words of peace. She turned to John Harris. Captain, your team started this. You held the station long enough for us to jump in. Without that, we might have arrived too late. John leaned against a rail. His shoulder was bandaged now. The medics had patched him quick. We did what we had to. The Krell thought we were weak. They learned different. Daniel Brooks sat at a station. He scrolled through incoming feeds. Coalition leaders want to meet us. They call us the Turning Point. Some already named ships after us. Laura Mitchell smiled small. She held a data pad with station logs. Tav and the other aliens are safe in medbay. They keep asking to thank us in person. Ryan Cole stood near the view screen, his arms crossed. Good. They fought with us. Deserve respect. Megan nodded. We will arrange it. First, we finish here. Guards brought Admiral Vara back to the bridge. His cuffs stayed on. His armor was scratched and dull. The red lines on his skin barely glowed. He looked smaller now. Megan faced him. Admiral, your surrender is recorded. Coalition forces accepted. But terms are strict. Your fleets return to Dominion space. No weapons upgrades for 10 cycles. Inspectors from neutral worlds will watch your shipyards. Vara stared at the floor. I accept. John stepped forward. One more thing. You will explain to your people why you lost. The truth. Humans are Deathworlders. Our world made us hard. You ignored that. It cost you everything. Vara met his eyes. I will speak it. I saw your people fight. You bleed and keep moving. You fall and rise again. My soldiers break when hurt. Yours do not. I was wrong to call you soft. The words hung in the air. No one spoke for a moment. Megan broke the quiet. Take him to quarters. Guarded but comfortable. He is a prisoner of war. Treat him right. Guards led Vara away. The bridge crew worked on cleanup. Damage reports. Casualty counts. Human losses were low. A few wounded. No dead on Liberty. The station had more, but most survived thanks to quick evacuations. John walked to the view screen. The gas giant spun slow below. Colors swirled peaceful. Stars shone bright beyond. Daniel joined him. Feels strange. We came as observers. Now we are heroes. Laura came up. Not strange. Expected. Our world taught us to survive anything. The galaxy just needed a reminder. Ryan grunted. They will remember now. Megan approached the group. Captain Harris, the coalitions want a formal ceremony on Harmony Station, reopened. They want you and your team there to accept thanks and maybe a medal or two. John looked at his team. They nodded one by one. We were go, he said. Hours later, Harmony Station looked different. Repair crews worked fast. Lights shone bright again. The big meeting room was cleaned. Seats arranged in a circle once more. Delegates filled them, not scared now, hopeful. Humans stood at one end. John, Daniel, Laura, Ryan, Ethan and Mia too. Clean uniforms, bandages hidden. Megan stood beside them in dress uniform. Tav stepped forward first. The green-scaled engineer bowed deep. You saved us. My people owe you life debts. The bird-like delegates followed. They sang a short song of thanks. Feathers ruffled with emotion. Short words. Long thanks. One old scaled leader said, We thought Deathworlders were monsters. Now we see you are protectors. A young delegate from a small coalition stood. You showed us strength is not in weapons alone. It is in will, in never giving up. John stepped to the center. He spoke simple. We did not come to conquer. We came because friends were in danger. Our world is hard. It made us tough. But we use that toughness to help when we can. Today, we helped. Tomorrow, we hope for peace. The room filled with sounds of agreement. Claps, chirps, low rumbles. Megan pinned small medals on each of them. Simple metal discs with Earth symbol. For courage under fire, for turning the tide. After the ceremony, they walked the station halls. Aliens nodded respect as they passed. No more laughs, no more sneers. In a quiet lounge, the team sat together. Food from Earth rations mixed with alien dishes. He brought a bottle of something sweet. To new friends, he said. They raised cups, drank. Daniel leaned back. Think the galaxy will change now? Laura nodded. It already did. Scholars will study Earth. Evolution on a death world. How it builds survivors. Ryan ate slow. As long as they leave us alone, fine by me. John looked out a window. Stars endless. They will not forget. And we will not either. If trouble comes again, we answer. Megan entered. She carried a datapad. New orders from Earth. We stay in this sector. Help with peace talks. Train coalition forces in human tactics. They want to learn from us. John smiled. Good. We have a lot to teach. Days turned to weeks. Krell fleets stayed home. Borders quiet. Trade ships moved again. Harmony Station became a symbol. A place where weak stood with strong. Where Deathworlders proved their worth. Alien children heard stories. Not of scary monsters from Earth, but of brave humans who faced down empires and won with grit. Scholars wrote books. The Deathworld Effect. They spoke of resilience, Adaptation, the will to endure. One night, John stood alone on Liberty's observation deck. The gas giant glowed below. He thought of home, storms, mountains, oceans that tried to drown sailors, forests full of teeth. He thought of the summit, the ambush, the fights in dark halls. He thought of Vara's face when he surrendered. A small smile crossed his lips. The adversaries had been in peril. Now they were safe, because fearless Deathworlders had confronted them, and refused to lose. The blue world far away kept spinning, full of life, full of fight, and the galaxy knew its name. Earth, home of the unbreakable. The big space station floated high above the swirling clouds of a giant gas planet. Its name was Harmony Station, a neutral place where many alien species came to talk. Today, the meeting room was full. Lights glowed on the high ceiling. Seats formed a wide circle. Delegates from different worlds sat in them. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had skin like smooth metal. They all wore fine robes or tight suits that showed their rank. In one small section sat the humans. There were only 4 of them. Captain John Harris led the group. He was tall, with short brown hair and calm blue eyes. Next to him sat Lieutenant Daniel Brooks. Daniel was younger, with black hair and quick hands that never stopped moving. Engineer Laura Mitchell sat on John's other side. She had red hair tied back and always carried a small toolkit. The last was Specialist Ryan Cole. Ryan was big and quiet. He watched everything without saying much. The humans looked plain compared to the others. Their uniforms were dark blue with few decorations. They had come as observers only. Earth was still new to the galaxy. Most aliens thought humans were strange. They came from a wet, stormy world, full of sharp teeth, poison plants, and wild weather. The aliens called it a death world. To them, it sounded like a bad joke. At the center of the circle stood Admiral Vara of the Krell Dominion. Vara was very tall. His skin was dark gray, with red lines that glowed when he got angry. He wore heavy black armor, with gold edges. His voice was deep and cold. He spoke through a translator that made every word sharp. "The Krell Dominion has spoken," Vara said. "The border systems belong to us now. The weak coalitions must give up their colonies. If they refuse, we will burn their cities from orbit. No one can stop us." A low sound of fear moved through the room. The smaller species looked down. Some shook. Others whispered fast to their aides. The coalitions had asked for this summit to find peace. Now it looked like war was coming fast. One delegate, a thin bird-like being named Lyra from the Free Systems, stood up. Her feathers trembled. "Admiral, please. We can share the resources. There is enough for all." Vera laughed. It was a hard, dry sound. "Share? Weak ones always beg to share when they cannot fight. The Dominion does not share. We take." He turned his head slowly. His red eyes stopped on the human section. "And what do the Deathworlders say? The soft ones from the poison ball called Earth. Do you also beg?" John Harris did not move at first. He looked straight at Vera. Then he smiled, just a little. "We do not beg, Admiral. We listen, then we act." The room went quiet. Some aliens turned to stare at John. A few laughed softly, thinking it was brave, but foolish. Vera stepped closer. His boots made heavy sounds on the metal floor. "Act?" Vara said. "You humans are small. Your bodies break easily. Your world is full of death, yes, but you hide in metal boxes to survive it. Here in the galaxy, you are nothing. Stay silent, or we will test how soft your skin really is." Daniel Brooks leaned forward. His fingers tapped on the table. Laura Mitchell looked up from her small scanner. She had been checking the station's power levels the whole time. Ryan Cole crossed his arms. His face stayed blank. John stood up slowly. He was not as tall as Vara, but he looked steady. You talk a lot about weakness, Admiral. Maybe you should ask your scouts what happened when they landed on our moon base last year. They left fast. They said the cold was too much. They said our air burned their lungs. Funny thing. We thought it was a nice spring day. More laughter came from the room, but it was nervous now. Vara's red lines glowed brighter. Your kind twists stories to feel strong. The Dominion has crushed greater empires. We will crush you too, if you stand in our way. John sat down again. We are not standing in your way yet. But if you start a war, remember one thing. Humans do not break easy. Our world tried to kill us every single day for 1,000,000 years. It failed. You might fail too. Vara turned away. Enough. The summit is over. Prepare your surrender terms. You have one cycle. The delegates started to stand. Some rushed to the doors. Others stayed frozen in their seats. The humans did not move. John looked at his team. Stay calm, he said quietly. This might get messy. Daniel nodded. I already sent a ping to our relay drone outside. If things go bad, Earth will know in minutes. Laura closed her scanner. Station security is down to minimum. They trust the Krell too much. If boarding starts, we can lock down this sector fast. His voice was low. I counted 12 Krell guards at the main doors. They have energy rifles, heavy ones. John gave a small nod. Good eyes. We watch, we wait. If they come for us, we fight smart. Outside the meeting room, the lights dimmed once. A warning signal. Then the station shook. A deep boom came from far away. Alarms started to scream. Red lights flashed on every wall. Vara's voice came over the station speakers. This is Admiral Vara. Harmony Station is now under Krell control. All delegates will stay in place. Resistance will be met with force. Panic hit the room like a wave. Aliens ran in every direction. Some cried out. Others tried to hide behind seats. The humans stood up together. Daniel pulled a small pistol from his belt. It looked simple next to the fancy alien weapons, but it was reliable. Laura took out a multi-tool that could cut metal or seal doors. Ryan lifted a heavy chair like it weighed nothing and moved it to block the side entrance. John looked around at the scared faces of the other delegates. Anyone who wants to come with us, follow. We are heading to the engineering deck. It has better defenses. A few aliens hesitated, then ran to join them. A small green-scaled engineer from the outer rim. 2 bird-like technicians. They looked terrified but determined. The group moved fast down the corridor. Behind them the sound of boots echoed. Krell's soldiers were coming. Energy fire lit up the walls in bright blue flashes. John led the way. His face was calm. Inside he felt the old familiar rush, the same one he felt during storms back home, or when a bear came too close to camp. It was not fear, it was focus. They reached a heavy door marked Engineering Access. Laura knelt and plugged her tool into the lock. Sparks flew. The door hissed open. Inside, John said, barricade it. They rushed in. Ryan pushed crates against the door. Daniel checked the vents for cameras. Laura ran to a console and started typing fast. Outside, fists pounded on the metal. Then energy blasts hit it. The door glowed red but held. Vara's voice came again over the speakers. Surrender now, Deathworlders, or die. John looked at his team. They were ready. No panic, no shaking. He pressed the comm button on his wrist. This is Captain Harris. We are under attack. Krell forces have taken the station. Sending full data burst. Earth, if you can hear this, we need backup. He paused. And tell them to hurry. These guys think they are tough. They are about to learn what tough really means. The door shook again, louder this time. The humans waited. They were not afraid.